What's up, YouTube? Four Leaf Cards here. Figured I'd do a little video as an introduction. I realized that you guys probably don't know what I'm collecting or anything, so I'm going to start off. I got a background here, just a Super Bowl set here. I'm going to do a video of that in the future, but it's nice to have a little background here. But I'm going to show off a couple cards from my childhood, and just talk a little bit about what all how I started collecting, I guess. So I started probably collecting baseball cards, I'd say kind of loosely in maybe 85 and 86. And the first set I ever built was 1987 Topps, and then 88, 89, 90, 91, 92, 93, and then 94 we had a strike. I'm assuming this is kind of a similar story to a lot of guys in my generation. But that was kind of a high school time for me, and strike kind of put a bad taste in my mouth. I was playing baseball at the time, but just kind of got out of collecting. And actually a really funny story is how I got back in here. So here we are in 2019. So last summer, 2018, I was driving down the road for work with a work colleague, and we drove past a baseball card shop, and there's a big sign that said, "Going out of business." And he looked at me, and I looked at him and said, hey, we just have to get back to the hotel tonight. You want to stop and check that out? So we both said, yeah, let's do it. And went in there, and this card shop had everything in there. And there was a bunch of boxes of old wax. I mean, it was like stepping right back into my childhood. And that day, we probably both spent $60 on loose packs of wax, and went back and to the hotel, grabbed a 6-pack of beer, and dropped the tailgate on the truck. And we opened packs from the 80s. And he's a Brewers fan. I'm a Red Sox fan. And we went back and forth trading cards, and he got the players he liked. Of course, he liked Canseco and McGuire back in the day. So did I. So we were jockeying some pretty big trades for those kind of cards. But had a blast opening those packs of cards. And that next month I went down for work by myself and stopped again, and I decided, I'm going to buy a box of 1981 Fleer. I was just kind of sitting there calling my name, and opened up that box, 1 pack a day as I traveled over the next however many days there, 36 in a pack and a box, and decided that I was going to build the 1981 Fleer set. And however many months later, and I think I bought 2 extra boxes now, so I'm at 3 boxes, and still haven't completed that set, but I've got it in my mind that I am going to complete that set with only cards that I pull from packs. So I'm in that one for the long haul here. Hopefully we don't run out of wax before I build the set. But I wanted to talk about 2 cards today. And the first one is a card that probably a lot of us just dreamt of having as kids. Back then there were card shops everywhere. And I recall this was like a town fair where kind of, vendors would set up and sell funny things, crochet hats and scarves and weird things like that. But there was always a couple, 2 or 3 tents that had somebody selling baseball cards back then. And as a kid, I could remember sitting there looking at those dealer, the dealer boxes with the glass, the glass cases, and you're looking in there and looking at all the cool cards that you couldn't touch because you didn't have enough money to do it. And this card was one that probably we all had that same feeling with. So I was in a local card shop the other day. Well, this was probably a while ago now, last fall. So after I had got my wax addiction started up, I walked into one local card shop, and he had one of these sitting right there. And I told him the story about how I had wanted it, and he said, well, it could be yours today if you have the right amount of money. So I bought it, and I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of ugly, but here he is. We all know this one, Rickey Henderson's rookie card. So if you look at it, it's got some dinged up corners. and it's off-centered, but it's mine. Losing out of focus here, but it's got good color to it. And actually, if we look at the back of it, it's got a little bit of stain in there, and I think my heart got the best of me that day. And I kind of just said, you know what? Gosh darn it, I'm a grown man. I got my own money. I'm buying this card, and I took it home with me that day. And I'm probably going to upgrade this card because this one is, when you really start looking at it, not the greatest card. But this is going to be the official first Rickey Henderson rookie card that I've ever owned. So it does hold a special spot in my heart, and it'll stay in this plastic like this. I'll probably put it in the casket with me. So there he is, Rickey Henderson, the card that I could never have as a kid. And I walked up one day and just threw down, I think it was $20. I probably overpaid for it, but I think we've all got some of those stories. And I think, to be honest with you, it was dumb money, and it was just an impulse buy. But sometimes you just got to do that, and it felt right. And I took it home, and I'll tell you, I'm not going to lie, I carried this with me for 2 weeks straight and took it out every night and looked at it, and that's when I started seeing the stuff that I didn't like about it. But this card brought so much joy to me. It brought so much angst to me as a young child, just wanting it and just wondering, how could I ever possibly afford a Rickey Henderson rookie? And then so much joy as an adult. And I think that's why we're seeing such a big resurgence in the hobby, is that there's a bunch of folks like me out there that have a little bit of money now, and the price of the cards have come down. I think we're seeing them starting to go back up a little bit, but they've come down enough, and we've got enough money that we can just buy a card like this and get so much joy out of it, just because it was so hard to get as a kid. So I'm going to leave Rickey up here. We don't need to look at those guys, the Patriots guys, anymore. Now, that same type of situation at a fair when I was Googling over Rickey Henderson's rookie, and I didn't have near as much money as I needed. This particular dealer, and I don't even want to call him a dealer anymore, but he said, boy, I could set you up with an Alan Trammell autograph card. And I think it was $10 at the time. So here you had a Rickey Henderson trading for, I don't know, $200 or something crazy like that. And he was going to give me an autographed card of Alan Trammell. And here is that card. Let's move Rickey over. Alan Trammell autograph card. Now, we'll get back to the front in a second here, but here's Alan Trammell. If you look down here, 87, he was hitting 343, 28 homers, bunch of ribbies, and Alan Trammell was hot. I mean, hot. So here we are with an 88 Fleer. Nice cards, you know, back in the 80s, they were pretty sharp. Here he is playing, smooth-looking guy, right? Now I own myself an Alan Trammell autograph card. And I put it away, and I didn't do much with it. I kind of took it out and just said, I didn't want to ruin it. And so I didn't do much with it, but I always kind of said, man, I at least got myself an autographed Alan Trammell card. And I had a bunch of other cards, right? And I'm a Red Sox fan, so Rickey Henderson's not a Red Sox. Alan Trammell's not Red Sox. But these two cards were kind of like my biggest cards, one that I wanted, and this was like the biggest card that I had because it was autographed. And then one day I was showing it to one of my best friends, and he said, "You dumb fool, Alan only has one L in it." And I looked at it and I said, "No, the guy told me it was a legit signature. There's two L's right there." So if you go up and look at Alan Trammell's autograph, there's not two L's in there. That's not how he signs. So I got had for $10 by some shady dealer. And I keep this card. This is one of my, I should be really angry, but this is one of my favorite cards, and I keep this card in my kind of hot box, what I call it, so that every time I'm rummaging through there, I see it, and I remind myself to not be a fool, even though I was a fool on this Rickey Henderson card, but not be a fool and really take a look at these cards and make sure you're getting what you're paying for. So I keep this one with me, and I share it with people. And I hope that you guys can take that message with you too in my introductory video here, that you got to watch out because there are shady people everywhere. The hobby is full of awesome, great people, and it's been really fun watching everybody on YouTube. But I want you guys to know and learn from my mistake as a 10-year-old, just to watch out for what you're getting. And if you've got cards like this, I'd keep them because I think they just add to your story and how you've collected and the whole thing. So that's my little bit on how I'm collecting and how I got back into it, and a couple of cards that really mean a lot to me and have really been a good part of my collection here, getting back into the hobby. So I really appreciate you guys taking some time to watch my videos. Hopefully I'll get some more posted up here, and hey, feel free to subscribe. I'm looking for some subscribers, and I'll keep pumping out some content for all you guys. All right, hey, this is 4 Leaf Cards. Best of luck to all you guys. Have a good one.